Well, that was the most routine victory of all time for Manchester City, man. Southampton, I mean, they're bottom of the table and they showed it. I don't know what to feel sorry for them or what, but they well and truly got steamrolled here by Manchester City. It was no contest whatsoever. They took them to the cleaners. Southampton were decent in that first half. I thought, you know what? They got something about them. They came along to play here, Southampton. But as soon as Man City got going, as soon as that motor started moving, it was only ever going to be one result, really. And they well and truly steamrolled Southampton 4-1. But the funny thing is still, Man City weren't at their scintillating best in the first half. They still look gettable. But this was a good victory for them, I can't lie. Especially given what Man City have been through. In recent weeks, they've been top-notch. They are starting to really hit form now. And it's scary. I'm an Arsenal fan and it is scary to see because I'm seeing a City team that look good. Like they're picking up victories. Liverpool last week, easy comprehensive victory for Man City. Again today, comprehensive victory. They're starting to pick up the results bit by bit by bit. And a scary thought for any Arsenal fan watching this is, we could win every game of the season, but draw at Anfield and lose to Man City at Etihad. And provided City win every game, which they're capable of doing, we won't win the league title. Which is a scary, scary thought. If we lose the Etihad and draw one more game, and Man City do the business, which we expect them to do, Arsenal would not win the league title. It's absolutely crazy to think that. We got to keep at our top form, and City are showing that they're not slowing down whatsoever. They are moving here today. And I thought in the first half, I thought Southampton were really good. They really showed tenacity, they showed fight, the crowd were up for it. They were having good breaks on the counter-attack, but just a lack of concentration at the end of the match. At the end of the first half cost them. And then when it was going into half-time 1-0, it really took the stuffing out of Southampton, and it kind of folded in that second half, to be completely honest. Haaland's incredible. Meanwhile, Southampton is definitely getting relegated. I didn't hear James Ward-Prowse's name all game. Yeah, I mean, Southampton, look, they're not going to get monitored on their games against Man City and Arsenal and teams like that because they're top notch. But again today, Southampton did not look amazing. They could not convert their chance. I think in the first half, they were deep. Like, they had options on the break. With that Suleiman guy, Walcott, Alvarez, they had some chances on the break, man, but just weren't getting shots away enough. They looked toothless up front. But then, going into half-time, I'm watching my TV and I'm thinking, foul him. As soon as Grealish got that ball on the 45th minute, foul him. Bring him down, take a yellow if you have to, and get into half-time. But no, they don't foul. The ball gets recycled over, goes out to De Bruyne, who has all the time in the world to whip it in. Haaland makes a run beyond the defender and heads it home. And it's as you like for Man City. Simple goal. Two world-class players combining. And despite all of Southampton's work in the first half, they go down into the half 1-0 down. And look, that's how it is against Man City. If you're going to pick up points, you have to keep your concentration. And teams like Southampton at the bottom of the table, they don't. They don't keep their concentration enough. Because today, in that first half, they had some chances. City took a while to get clicking. Trust me, they weren't testing Bazunu at all. But in that second half, they completely ran away with it, man. 2 goals, 3 goals. Even when Southampton got back in the game with a brilliant run from Gineppo. Jinky past defenders. Played it into Mara, who side-footed it home. Literally, before the highlights had even finished of the goal, they go through and they get a penalty. It's crazy. I'm watching the replays of the goal thinking, hold on, Southampton, you know what? With 20 minutes left, crowd behind you, stranger things have happened in football. The replays haven't even finished of the goal, and I see, oh, penalty for Man City. It's criminal, man. It's criminal at times. Southampton, as the comment says right here, I think they are getting relegated. It's tough for them because they've been in the Premier League so long, but when you're getting beaten and bruised like this, and I know it's Man City, a team that not a lot of teams are expecting to win, but Forest got a point against Man City. Everton got a point at Man City. It's not a place that's impossible to get a result. Like, it's not impossible to get a result against Manchester City, but they folded Southampton. They well and truly folded. They had nothing on the counter-attack. I don't look at that as having a team of quality players. As well, I look at Everton, I think they've got some decent players in there. Same with West Ham, etc. I don't see any decent players really with Southampton. I think James Ward-Prowse is their only top player. They've got decent youngsters. Lavia, Bella Kotchap, Carl Walker-Peters. Decent, efficient role players, but they haven't got enough top quality, especially in attacking areas for me. And that is why I think Southampton are destined to go down. Man City, on the other hand, though, they keep moving. They played their strongest team, which I was surprised about. I thought they would make some changes, especially given the game against Bayern Munich on Tuesday, which I will be covering on this channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that one. Another match review after that one. I can't wait for it. Man City versus Bayern Munich at the Etihad in the Champions League quarter-final first leg. So I thought they would make some changes to Man City, but they surprised me. They ran their strongest team, and they made some changes around the 50th, 60th minute when the game was kind of wrapped up at 2-0. But yeah, even so, Man City steamrolled Southampton. There was no competition for them. I think in the first half they took a while to get going, but once they did, it was as you would really. Man City completely took them to the cleaners. Haaland even scored a beautiful third goal. Brilliant scissor bicycle kick. I'm not sure necessarily it was bicycle kick because it was sideways, but it was a brilliant goal nevertheless. And he goes up to 30 Premier League goals this season, which is an incredible tally. Absolutely incredible. However, despite the fact Haaland scored 30 Premier League goals, disagree with me as you like, I still believe Man City are a better team without Haaland. It's my opinion. You can disagree as much as you want. I do believe Manchester City are a better team without Haaland. Man City's best performance this season, in my eyes, was their performance against Liverpool last week. That second half, they were fluid. But this week, this game here today, they look good with Haaland. But I still think when Alvarez comes on the pitch, they look a little bit better, City. Look better in transition. They look a bit more free-flowing. I think still when Haaland is there, they do force it into Haaland a little bit. And I do think they're a better team without him in the side. But I can't discredit the fact that that man is world class. He will get goals on that Man City side. And he will be playing against Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich will be all week preparing how to stop Erling Haaland. Because he is that good. But I still reserve the right to say that I do believe Manchester City are a better team when Alvarez plays up front rather than Erling Haaland. But their clinicality, their ruthlessness still exists and it still prevails when Haaland's in that side because the brother will get goals. Looking forward now, City in their next week, I've got Leicester City in their next game. That'll be the easiest 3 points on planet Earth right now. Leicester are struggling, especially at home. Arsenal tomorrow play Liverpool away from home. So really and truly, this title race is hotting up big time because Man City are starting to hit form. They really are. And as an Arsenal fan, I'm worried. And tomorrow against Liverpool, it's not an easy game. It's a tough game. It's arguably the second hardest ground to go for Arsenal other than the Etihad because Anfield, no one wants to visit that game. No matter how good Liverpool are playing, no matter how good, no matter how bad, you don't want to go to Anfield. And Arsenal going to Anfield tomorrow will have a lot of confidence, but equally will be aware of the dangers that Liverpool possess because they can be a dangerous side, Liverpool. Got to go there with confidence, execute their game plan, and Arsenal can get a result. I, of course, will be covering that game as well on this channel. Cannot wait for it. Liverpool versus Arsenal, absolute crunch match for the top of the table, Arsenal. I'm just hoping they pull off a victory. I think if Arsenal win tomorrow at Anfield, it's a massive psychological boost. Absolutely massive. Because Arsenal's next two games after that is West Ham away and Southampton at home. And I do expect Arsenal to get 6 points out of 6 in those two matches. Man City, on the other hand, they play Leicester next week, which I do expect them to win. Then the week after, they don't even play in the Premier League because they've got an FA Cup match against Sheffield United. So really and truly, if Arsenal win tomorrow, it goes back up to 8 points. If Arsenal win their next two games, it can go to 14. Of course, if Man City beat Leicester's expect them to do so, it could be an 11-point gap. So going into the game at the Etihad, it could be an 11-point gap, but Man City have 2 games in hand. So honestly, it's hotting up. Psychologically, would you rather have 11 points, 2 games in hand? Yeah, it's half a dozen in one hand, 6 in the other. Who knows, man? Either way, Arsenal got to keep doing their business because City are not relapsing. They're not giving up. They keep going for this title and they keep charging. They're running the same team. They're running the same formation. These 4 centre-backs. Stones dropping into midfield. It's working for Pep Guardiola, it seems. They're going to keep running it. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, that game at the Etihad is so massive. So massive, man. And as an Arsenal fan, I'm worried because if we go into that game expecting that we need to win that football match to win the title, it could be a long day for us because City try hard at the Emirates. City played one of their best games at the Emirates, man. And the thing is, they went into that game and they actually did something I did not expect Pep Guardiola to do. And he victimised Man City when he went to the Emirates. And when I mean victimised Man City, they got the victory, so I'm not discrediting it one bit. But they had less possession. They had, I think, 36% possession. They played long ball. He did everything that I would not expect Pep Guardiola to do. When he went to the Emirates, he played long ball. He played it up to Haaland. And it was Haaland's best game for Man City because they played to his strengths. He didn't bother about possession, ball on the floor, tippy-tappy football. He literally just sat back and long balled it over to Haaland. And, I mean, he got the result at the Emirates. But Pep Guardiola kind of gave up on his football philosophy to get that win. When we go to the Etihad, will Pep Guardiola do that? I don't think so. I think at the Etihad, he's going to try and play a football game. And maybe that might feed into Arsenal's hands. Because I honestly think when Arsenal play Man City, whichever team has less possession has more chance of winning that football match. Because they'll probably be more dangerous on the counter-attack and in transitions. It'll be an interesting game for sure. I cannot wait for it. Before then, there's still a lot of football to be played. And make no mistake about it. Just because the game between Arsenal and Man City at the Etihad is honestly a 6-pointer and probably a title decider, every game in the Premier League is worth 3 points, whether you play Southampton away or Arsenal at home. So every game is going to be important from now to the end of the season. Arsenal tomorrow, Liverpool away. Arsenal are not going to be relapsing against Liverpool. They're going to be at the top of their games. They know they need to win tomorrow. It's kind of dodgy the way the fixtures have gone. It's gone in Man City's favour because Man City are playing first, week in, week out. Man City are playing before Arsenal even kick a football. That's crediting Man City. Because I'm telling you this, yeah? When you watch the team before you get their victory, it throws you psychologically. It definitely throws you. It's like in a penalty shootout. The team that takes first, more often than not, wins the penalty shootout because it's that psychological boost. There's less pressure on you when you're taking first. Man City are playing first, week in, week out in the Premier League now. They play Saturday, Arsenal play Sunday. Next week, Man City play Saturday, Arsenal play Sunday against West Ham. It's psychologically in Man City's favour the way the fixtures are going out for them. That being said though, if Arsenal take care of business, it doesn't matter who plays first or second because Arsenal is still their title to lose. But as I said, the dangerous thought for Arsenal fans is if you lose at the Etihad and you draw at Anfield, and even if you win every other match, provided Man City take care of their business, you won't have your hands on the Premier League title in May, which is a scary, scary thought because Arsenal have had too good of a season not to win a Premier League title, or not to win any trophy for that matter. Arsenal played too well to not deserve any kind of trophy. I thought Man City would rest some players today ahead of Bayern Munich on the week. They're not doing that. Man City proceeded with their strongest 11. They've got Bayern Munich on Tuesday in a couple days' time. It'll be a massive game. They've then got Leicester on Saturday, which I expect them to easily win, to be completely honest. I think Leicester are scrubs right now. Then they've got Bayern Munich again, and then it's an FA Cup match. So well and truly, the Premier League fixtures right now for Man City are looking kind of nice. I think Arsenal fans would have hoped, sandwiched between the Bayern Munich games, they would have hoped for a tough Man City game to at least test them and run them ragged. But it seems like they're getting let off the hook a little bit by playing Southampton and Leicester City, two of the worst teams in the Premier League, in between the Bayern Munich clashes, which is kind of lucky for Man City, but it's the way the fixtures go. The thing is with Man City, though, they've still got tough games, and I still think their away form isn't quite at it. I think at home, Man City will continue to win games because they're a different kind of beast. But I think away from home, you can still get at Man City. They've got to go Craven Cottage. Fulham have been rubbish recently, so I do expect City to win that game. They've still got to go to Brighton and Hove Albion. That'll be a very tough match. They've still got to go to Brentford. That'll be the last game of the season, though, which I think will go Man City's favour because Brentford by then won't be playing for much. And we already saw them today lose against Newcastle and on Wednesday, lose against Manchester United. So I think Brentford already starting to fall off the pace a little bit. But even so, City still got some tough away games. So it's not by any means over. They've still got to play Chelsea. When are Chelsea going to click? I expect them to click at some point. They've got too good of players. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination, the title race. But when City are in this form, when they're playing like this, when Pep Guardiola has finally found his starting 11 that he can rely on, because he has been mixed and matching this season, but he seems to find something that works with the four centre-backs, Stones in midfield with Rodri, then Gundogan, De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez one wing. Jack Grealish has found his form. He's starting to look amazing, scintillating in that City attack. And then Haaland, of course, down the middle. When you see City playing like this, you do get a little bit worried as an Arsenal fan. I am worried because I look at Arsenal and we've still got tough games. Definitely got the tougher run of fixtures. Still got to go to Newcastle. Still got to go to Anfield tomorrow. Still got to go to the Etihad. Still got to play Chelsea. Arsenal's run of fixtures are not friendly by any stretch of the imagination. So the title isn't over. It's by no means wrapped up with a bow on it. But opposition fans, they still love to run their mouth. I'm still hearing fans saying, oh, if Arsenal don't win the title, it's the biggest bottle jobs ever. It's not. Because let's be honest, if Arsenal win every game, but don't beat Liverpool tomorrow and lose to City at the Etihad, but win every other game from now to the end of the season, will you say Arsenal bottled it? Because I honestly don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to say that if Arsenal win every single game from now to the end of the season, but don't beat Liverpool tomorrow and lose at the Etihad. That's not bottling it. Obviously, if Arsenal lose games like Southampton at home, West Ham away, you can classify it as bottling it. But other than that, I'm not necessarily aligning with that thought process. Haaland is so fantastic. He is. He's so good. He's world class and he's a clinical finisher. But I still do believe Man City are better without Erling Haaland. I honestly believe that. When I watched them against Liverpool with Alvarez, they look so good. It's like they have the Avengers. When Haaland's there, it's like they have Batman or Superman. Like, he's just the guy. Like, Haaland is that man. But when I see him without Haaland, the whole team clicks. Like, they look really good together. Against Liverpool, they won 4-1, just like today, but they had 4 different goal scorers. De Bruyne on the score sheet, Grealish, etc. You had Alvarez scoring. The whole team looked really good, man. But then, today, we had Haaland show. And you need that. I honestly think Haaland will get you wins. I think on Tuesday in the Champions League, Haaland may be the difference for Man City beating Bayern Munich. But I think over a 38-game season, I genuinely believe Man City are better with Alvarez up front instead of Erling Haaland in terms of the team performance. It's an unpopular opinion, especially right now, but I've reserved the right to have that opinion from the start of the season. I'm not going to change it now. I still think Haaland's a fantastic footballer, and he's shown that he's an incredible goal scorer. And has already hit 30 goals, and potentially could hit 40 by the time the season's done. But still, I still think that Haaland, that Man City team, they still do lose a little bit of an edge. He's still taken away from the talents of the other players around him. But with that being said, though, there's other players that are starting to hit their form now under Pep Guardiola. He's finally found his starting 11 in that Man City team. Jack Grealish is firing. Jack Grealish is looking really good there. He's basically nailed down that left wing position. Mars is looking good. He wasn't amazing today, but he's got that right wing position on lock. De Bruyne has found himself in the starting 11 again after he had a spell out of the side. Gundogan's getting minutes. Of course, Haaland's going to play. Rodri's in there still being a rock. Stones alongside him's good. He's found his starting 11, and that's the scary thought, because this whole season, Pep Guardiola has been experimenting, tinkering with this, tinkering with that. I feel like he kind of got bored of the Premier League and just started changing this, that, and everything to see what he could find to be his best 11. But now he's finally nailed it, and I think he stopped playing games now, Pep Guardiola, and he's really started to say, look, no more messing around, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm playing this team, and we're going for glory. We're going to try and win every single game from now to the end of the season. And they're honestly good. They're still in the FA Cup. They're still in the Champions League. Of course, they're still fighting for the title. Anything could happen. But they're chasing Arsenal. That's the one thing. Arsenal aren't chasing City. City are chasing Arsenal. And while they're chasing Arsenal, it's still in Arsenal's hands. And while that 8-point/5 point gap, given the games in hand City have got, is still intact, it's still Arsenal's title to lose. So they got to keep at it, Arsenal. Tomorrow's a massive game. I can't wait to cover it. I can't wait to watch it on this channel as well. I'll be covering a match review straight after. So subscribe. You do not want to miss this Liverpool versus Arsenal reaction on this channel. I can't wait for it, man. That's a massive game. How Arsenal responds to today will be a massive indicator, because I honestly believe there's some people thinking if Arsenal win tomorrow at Anfield, that will be the deciding factor on whether they believe Arsenal win the league or not. Because I believe Arsenal can win the league. I still believe Arsenal will win the league. I'm not getting carried away, because I've seen how City have played today, and I've seen how City can perform, and Arsenal still got tricky tests. But I still believe Arsenal can win the league. That being said, other pundits such as Gary Neville, for example, don't believe Arsenal are going to win the league. They still believe Man City. Yet they've said if Arsenal win at Anfield, because it's such a psychological boost, they believe Arsenal win the league. And I align with that thought process. I genuinely believe if Arsenal win tomorrow at Anfield, no matter how good Liverpool play, no matter how bad Liverpool play, if Arsenal win at Anfield tomorrow, Arsenal will win the league. I honestly believe that, because it's such a psychological boost winning at Anfield. It's such a tough place to go. Man City already went there and lost. If Arsenal win tomorrow at Anfield in that hostile atmosphere, in that hostile crowd, against a Liverpool team who've not been good this season, but can pull performances out the bag, like we've seen them do so against Bournemouth at the start, winning 9-0, and United a few weeks ago winning 7-0, it's a massive psychological boost for Arsenal. And then I believe Arsenal win the league. If Arsenal win tomorrow, Arsenal win the league. I genuinely believe that. Because West Ham away next week, I expect them to win that. Despite West Ham getting a victory today, I still expect Arsenal to win that game. And then Southampton the week after on the Friday. Arsenal actually play first this time, rather than City, and City don't even play that weekend. So, going into the game at the Etihad, if everything goes aligned for Arsenal, if everything goes to plan, they could be going into that game at the Etihad 11 points clear. Well and truly, they could be. That's taking into account Man City beating Leicester as well next week, which I fully expect them to do so. So it's a massive, massive few weeks in the Premier League. I do expect City to keep roaring, keep fighting, but Arsenal got to keep on job. And that game tomorrow is a massive, massive football game. Win that game, you've got one hand on the title for Arsenal. That psychological boost is immense. City playing their best football this season with a certain player balling out. Uncomfortable conversation. We know who he's on about. He's on about Jack Grealish, of course. He knows my thoughts. I'm not a massive fan of Jack Grealish. He hasn't been amazing for City, but credit where credit's due. He was good today. And Jack Grealish has been good all season. I don't know how he got man of the match, though. Like, that's some English tax giving Grealish man of the match, because obviously it's got to be Erling Haaland. That's third goal for Man City. Oh, my God. The way he scissor kicked that, so good from Erling Haaland, man. But that's the scary thought for Arsenal fans and any other fan. When City are playing like this, when Pep Guardiola's got his starting 11 sorted out, when he's played the same starting 11 3-4 games in a row, that's when you start to get worried. Because that's when City can click. Because football's all about consistency, right? City haven't had consistency in results because they haven't really had consistency in team selection. You've got to start from the ground up. When the team selection is consistent, when the formation's consistent, when the personnel's consistent, then you'll start to get consistent results. It's one before the other. How can you expect to get consistent results when you're changing the team week in, week out? That's what Guardiola was doing. 1 week Rico Lewis is in. 1 week Kyle Walker's in. 1 week Cancelo was in. 1 week Akanji. He was chopping and changing every week. How can you get consistent results when you're not even got the same Donny in the team every week? Now, he's stopped playing about. He's stopped messing around. And he's chosen his 11. And he's stuck by it. And he is running that 11. He's running this same formation with the 4 centre-backs. With Stones in midfield. Rodri in next to him. He's taking no prisoners now. And honestly, if you run that same 11, if you've got consistency, City are a good enough side to get a result, it's going to be crazy, man. And they're going to keep running for it. And I honestly believe City like this are going to keep picking up results. So Arsenal will keep on top of their job to maintain it. Who starts in the front three for Arsenal tomorrow? From Trossard, Martinelli, Jesus, Saka. Must-win game. Absolute must-win. I agree, an absolute must-win game. For me, Jesus and Saka have to start. Saka because he's the best right winger at the football club. And Jesus because we need that striker in there. The second position, Trossard or Martinelli, is a big toss-up for me, man. Trossard, of course, scored a hat-trick already at Anfield for Brighton. So he will be a massive, massive potential player there. And we know he's got the better of Trent Alexander-Arnold already. Equally Martinelli as well. My gut says Martinelli just because he's got the beating of Trent Alexander-Arnold already. And Martinelli, Jesus, Saka is a more established front three for Arsenal. They've had more minutes together. They know about each other more. And when we beat Liverpool at the Emirates, that was the front three that Arteta ran. But if Trossard starts ahead of Martinelli, I'd not be against it. I've got my faith in Arteta tomorrow that he's going to run the best possible 11 he can. And tomorrow, the game between Liverpool and Arsenal, I can't wait to stream my reaction to it. So subscribe if you haven't already. It's going to be massive. I genuinely believe that Arsenal can go there to win that game. If we play the game, not the occasion, we can get something from that football match. Liverpool are not good. I watched them on Tuesday against Chelsea. They were horrible, man. They already had a bit of disputes between Alisson and Henderson. The only thing that scares me is A, it's Anfield, and B, Liverpool can perform. They can turn up. We saw it against Manchester United and against Bournemouth this season already. Liverpool can turn up. But if Arsenal rock up with their game plan, with their formation, with the players firing that they should get a victory in that game. Like, if that game wasn't at the Emirates, if that game wasn't at Anfield, I'd be putting my money on Arsenal every day of the week. It's just the Anfield factor that does slightly scare me. Trossard and Jesus combine really, really well. Indeed, they do, but they hadn't had enough minutes together. I feel like the first time they really had minutes properly together was on the weekend against Leeds. Other than that, they haven't had enough minutes together, and it's a bit of a risk to throw them in at Anfield. That's why, for me, I'd just go for the established front three in Martinelli, Jesus, Saka. But if he plays Trossard, I'd not be against it because this brother is firing right now for Arsenal. January signing of the season. Hey, yo, chat, don't let us crash Anfield. That's all I'm saying. Hey, if Arsenal come to Anfield and we get 3 points, the 3-point collectors, the title is Arsenal's. I genuinely believe that. If Arsenal win tomorrow, the title is Arsenal's. I'm convinced. Because it's a psychological boost. If Man City, having won today against Southampton, bottom of the table, they're sitting there in training or they're sitting at their own homes. It's Easter Sunday, so they'll probably be at home. Eating food with the family. They look around, they see, hang on a minute. Anfield, tough game. We already lost there. We know what it's going to be like. Hostile atmosphere. Arsenal crumble. They always crumble at Anfield. Every season, Arsenal go Anfield, they lose. Oh, here we go. There we go. It's going to go back to 5 points. We've got a game in hand against West Ham. Back to 2 points. If they turn on that TV and they see Arsenal win that football match, doesn't matter if Arsenal win it 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, 4-0. If Arsenal win that football match tomorrow, I'm telling you that's going to hurt Man City psychologically. I guarantee it. Those players are going to be sitting there going, this is a different Arsenal team. This is a different Arsenal team because every season Arsenal hold it at Anfield. Every season. 2012 is the last time Arsenal won at Anfield in the Premier League. So to see Arsenal potentially get a result there is a massive, massive indicator that they are here to try and take this Premier League trophy. Massive, massive indicator for that. And I cannot wait for that game tomorrow. Going to be absolutely incredible. Interesting game as well. Let's see how it goes. Arsenal going to be firing. We know City is still going to be up for this title race. They've got a massive game as well on Tuesday against Bayern Munich. I can't wait for that one. Underneath the Champions League lights. They got to keep firing, man. It's going to be a massive, massive game. Liverpool as well, what's up with them? Because they keep chopping and changing their team as well. I expect the regulars to come back into the team. The Salahs, the Trents, the Andy Robertsons. I expect them to run back their main team. But there's weaknesses in that Liverpool side. Equally, if Holding plays for Arsenal, I expect him to do so because Saliba, I don't think he's going to be fit in time. That's a problem for Arsenal as well because we know Holding's a weak point for Arsenal. He's not nowhere near as good as Saliba. So there's weak sides for both teams, man. I think it's going to be an interesting match. It's a titanic clash, and it's going to be so, so important. And I honestly believe if Arsenal do win tomorrow, a lot of the doubters for Arsenal are going to slowly start to be converted into believers. I genuinely believe that. It's going to be a massive, massive game. Back to Man City though, they won this game here against Southampton, deservedly so as well. They were the better side. Once they got purring in that second half, Southampton didn't really have anything to stop them. And the really interesting thing as well, when I noticed that City really were that top side, is as soon as Southampton scored to make it 3-1, I thought, hang on a minute, at home as well, 20 minutes left. But before the replays were even done showing the goal, City had a penalty. That's so important, man. Nullify any threat. Killer's mentality. Hand on their neck, man. That's what City are like. They had the foot on Southampton's neck. Didn't give him any breathing space. Even when Southampton scored to make it 3-1, slightly potentially nervous, banana skin for Man City. They scored a penalty straight away to nullify all that potential attack, kill all momentum, and the game was theirs again. Really, really impressive for Manchester City here today, and they deserved the 3 points. I can't argue one bit with that. Equally, they got to keep going, because the Premier League title, Arsenal are here to stay. If they would have faded away, they would have faded away by now. It's now April. They're still 8 points clear, 5 points now. Of course, it could be 8 points given what happens tomorrow. Who knows? Arsenal here to stay. They're a different type of Arsenal team. Man City got to keep with their foot on the gas. They can't fall away. They've got a lot of games coming thick and fast. My thing is with Man City, right? They've got incredible squad depth. I do agree. But the system they're playing isn't very flexible. When I look at it, the system Guardiola is playing with the 4 centre-backs, Stones in midfield next to Rodri, the personnel he's got, he has to run that team with the personnel he's currently got. If Stones get injured, he already said, and I don't know why he did this, but he already called out Kyle Walker publicly saying Kyle Walker can't play that position. So has he got the personnel to run this team if players like Stones get injured, if players like Rodri get injured, Jack Grealish gets injured, for example? I know they've got squad depth, City, but the system he's playing right now, Guardiola, I don't think his squad has got enough depth to play that system, because it's a very unique system. There's no team in the Premier League that's running 4 centre-backs right now in their team. So, I mean, I wish him the best. I don't wish him the best because I'm an Arsenal fan, but it's a figure of speech. I wish him the best. But either way, I do think City, they got to keep going. They got to keep playing this team. There's no more international breaks from now to the end of the season. They're still in every competition they can be in. It's got to be foot on the gas for them. Keep going till the end of the season. Because I'm telling you one thing, Arsenal are not fading away. They got to keep playing their system. Will they be able to keep this system up with the current personnel from now to the end of the season? Say Rodri gets suspended or injured. Say Stones gets suspended or injured. Have they got the personnel to back up that? Or will they have to chop and change again? And that's when you have problems. Who knows? Because that's the thing about Man City. They've found form, but they've found form in this system. Arsenal found form no matter who's really in that team. Like, even if Jesus is out, Nketiah's in, he's not necessarily a false nine Nketiah, but Arsenal still get results. Trossard comes in, still get results. Arsenal seems to be playing well with a general system. The whole squad seems to be pushing in the right direction. City have hit form with this current unique style of football. Who knows if it continues, man? It's a big point. Good point. Yeah, man. Good point, of course. That's how I'm here to talk about football, man. Good points everywhere and anywhere. But yeah, Man City, they pull off the victory nevertheless. I had a slight, you know what, yeah, it sounds, I don't know, it's a hope that kills you, but I genuinely thought Southampton might get something from this game. It's crazy, but I thought Southampton had a bigger chance of getting a result against City than Liverpool did. Because I think at the Etihad, City are unstoppable. If City drop any points from now until the end of the season at the Etihad, I'd be surprised. And that includes the game against Arsenal, by the way. I think they will beat Arsenal at the Etihad. It's away from home where I think City have been poor this season. They've looked really vulnerable at times. And in that first half, with the crowd on their side, Southampton had something for City. They had some attacking prowess about them. But once City got 1, they folded. Once City got 2, they well and truly folded. And even when Southampton brought 1 back, City kept their foot on the gas and they put that game beyond sight, to be completely honest. It's a big win for them. It's a very big win for them. They go into that game against Bayern Munich. I think Man City will win at home against Bayern Munich. My pick is for Man City to win the Champions League. It's crazy because I've never ever thought Man City would win the Champions League. Even when they've been favourites year in, year out to win the Champions League, I've always said I don't think City are going to win the Champions League. Because I just think there's something missing from them. They haven't got that mentality to win the Champions League. But this season, with Haaland, I think he is that X factor. I think in those tight matches, Haaland can win you games. And I think that's why Pep Guardiola brought him in. I honestly don't think Haaland's a Pep Guardiola manager. I don't think Pep Guardiola loves having out and out goal scorers in his team because he loves team style oriented football. But in the Champions League, when you got Bayern Munich, when you're just looking for a goal, Haaland is that X factor. And I think that's the reason he brought him in, Pep Guardiola. He brought him in for exactly that reason. And Haaland could be that difference on Tuesday against Bayern Munich.
we're going to have to wait and see. I can't wait for that fixture as well. And today, again, he scored 2 brilliant goals, takes him up to 30. My prediction is he's going to reach 40 by the end of the season. I think he will, with 10 games left for Man City, I believe. No, 9 games left for Man City. I do believe Haaland will reach 40 goals. He's got 9 games to score 10 Premier League goals. The brother will do it. He's been on form all season to do it. As long as he doesn't get injured, he'll be fine. I think he will hit that 40 tally mark, and he will prove once again that he's a top striker in this Premier League and one of the best strikers already of all time in world football. The brother is straight up clinical for Manchester City, Erling Haaland. So he's got to keep his foot on the gas, man. But yeah, either way, Man City, they get the 3 points. Expect them to do so. It's Arsenal's job now tomorrow to respond. Seems like Arsenal always having to respond. The fixture hasn't been kind to them. They had West Ham. Sorry, they've got West Ham as well after Man City next week. They already played Leeds after Man City played. I mean, I feel like every time Arsenal playing after Man City, it's not really fair, but it's the way fixtures go. You just got to deal with your business. That's the fact of the matter. You deal with your business, you will get the 3 points. It doesn't matter if you play first or second, man. That's the way I also got to look at it. It's a massive game. Man City fans will be tuning into it, hoping Liverpool get a result. They'll probably be tuning into it, expecting Liverpool to get some kind of result. Because I think a lot of people are expecting Liverpool, no matter how bad their form is at Anfield, given how bad Arsenal's form has been at Anfield, to get something from that football match. I don't necessarily believe Arsenal will falter at Liverpool. I don't think Arsenal will crumble, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal don't win tomorrow. I genuinely wouldn't. Equally, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal do win tomorrow. I think they've got enough quality to win that football match. Who knows, man? Make sure you're all here tomorrow after the Arsenal game. I'll be here no matter what. Exactly, man. You got to be here at Wire Football after this game tomorrow. A massive football game for Arsenal, for all fans involved. Got to get that victory, man. It's a massive title decider. Liverpool aren't even fighting for top 4, really. So it's honestly all on Arsenal. All on Arsenal to get this win tomorrow. And if they do, boy, it's a massive 3 points in the context of the title race. Absolutely huge for Arsenal Football Club. But yeah, that's been my reaction to Man City winning 4-1 against Southampton. Southampton didn't really put up much of the fight. I do expect them to get relegated alongside Leeds. And to be honest, right now, I'm thinking Leicester might go down as well. Southampton, Leeds, Leicester, Nottingham Forest are 4 teams very dangerously flirting with relegation, in my opinion. And any of them could go down. But it swings in roundabouts. Look, the way the Premier League season's been going, 1 week, one team goes up, 1 week another team goes down. It's crazy. West Ham, they were dead and buried a couple of weeks ago. They win 2 games in a bounce against Southampton and against Fulham today, and they're suddenly in 13th. It's absolutely crazy the way the Premier League season is going, and it's going to be a massive end to the season. I can't wait for it. Man City did their job today. Congratulations to them. It now turns to Arsenal tomorrow. Let's see how they do. As always, make sure you subscribe down below. My next reaction will be tomorrow. Liverpool versus Arsenal. You do not want to miss it. A massive crunch game. And after that, I will, of course, be covering the Champions League matches. Real Madrid, Chelsea, and of course, Man City, Bayern Munich. I can't wait for it. Let me know who you believe is going to win the Premier League in the comment section. I've been waiting for to see you all in my next live stream or my next match reaction. Take care.